Chef, welcome to the Colorado Food Magazine podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thrilled to be here. Thank you.
It's going to be we're going to weave your story along with what's happening.
Yeah.
Your restaurant's only been open about 6 months. We're here at La Diabla on Larimer Street with Chef Ávila.
Mm-hmm.
And we met him at the Chefs Association meeting, and we talked a little bit about what's going on with the Hispanic Restaurant Association, the Hispanic Chefs Association, and you want to participate. And then after we talked about your story, I'm like, oh, we have to get you on the story, on the podcast and tell your story.
No.
So how did you get started in being a chef, being a restaurant owner?
I'd say like most kids, in growing up in Mexico City, I hanging out and spending the majority of the time with my grandmother, that's where I first started seeing the cooking, because it was like a tradition. 5 days a week, she will pick me up from school, and then on our way back, we'll hit the mercado just to get the groceries for the day. Traditionally, they grandmothers and moms throughout Mexico, they change their menus daily. So I think that is just
daily special,
or whatever the nephew or whatever the son or the daughter wants to have to eat. We get spoiled. So I think that was the first time I saw. Just going to the mercados. Have you ever been to a mercado in Mexico or Mexico City? It's just the smells and the noise and the people and everything that goes there is just fascinating to me. And then, I did all kinds of things. I was I was a bellboy for a hotel in Mexico City. I worked for an insurance company, but that was the
cooking drew you back.
Yeah, and by working at a big insurance company in Mexico City, I realized really quick that that wasn't something that I would want to do, like working on inside an office. It just wasn't for me. So I started selling clothes in tianguis, in informal markets throughout Mexico City. And by being in those places, those places, they don't just sell clothes or stuff like that. They sell all kinds of food as well. And then that's when I was just like, this is awesome, and all the variety of foods that you can see in these hole in the walls per se.
Was that a epiphany you had? Work one day, of all the different things you've done, you're just like, oh, I want to go down the culinary route. Chef.
Well, at the time, I was just a knucklehead in Mexico City, just trying to,
Did you say knucklehead?
Yeah. That was what I was just doing out there. It was trying to find my way, right, I guess.
How old were you?
I was probably 16, 17. I was in good steps. I wasn't doing anything good for me or for myself. So, but also, a family has a taco stands throughout Mexico City, and I worked there. So when I got the opportunity to travel, I spent a good time in New Zealand. Then I spent a really good time in Cuba.
What'd you do in both those places?
Working on a fishing boat. In New Zealand and in Cuba. I was just basically just traveling, just seeing the
dream.
Yeah, it was a dream, but unfortunately, there's a very important factor called money that if
makes the world go round.
If it's not there, it just makes things super hard. So that's when I go back to Mexico.
That's some great experiences, experiencing other cultures.
Yeah. No, I've always been fascinated by, especially all the pre-Hispanic culture from central Mexico, from southern Mexico, like the Mayans. That is something. I mean, just look at this place.
There's an influence there.
Yeah, because it's their origins. Everything started there, especially food and pozole. it comes from there. They used to venerate and throw a party for their god Xipetotec, which is the god of farming. And
This is the Mayans or the Aztecs?
the Aztecs. What they do, they will nixtamalize their corn, and they will cook it. But they, instead of now pig or chicken, they will use the humans
I know.
and human sacrifice.
A little harsh.
That's yeah. That was the times until the Spaniards came and said, like, that's you can't do that.
We don't do
So-
that in our culture.
and they introduced the pig and the chicken. So that's kind of the pozole that we know now came about. But
So let me understand this correctly.
yeah.
The Aztecs had the pozole, and then they did all this. They're sending it, worshiping their god through this,
Yes.
and they would sacrifice the humans
Mm-hmm.
for that as part of the
As
meat.
part of their-
And then they were conquered by the Spaniards,
Yeah.
and then they said, "No, we're going to do the cows, the pigs, and
Yeah.
all
They
the other."
they,
but
they
pig-
introduced those animals
And
to
that's
into
Fast
That's
forward
right.
in a culinary world
Yeah.
on a few hundred years,
Yeah.
of course, and then you have that. And is that your specialty here? Tell me.
It is.
Tell me about. We're gonna weave in and
Yeah.
out of what we're
Okay.
doing. And I want to talk about your restaurant, but I want to go back to the start of the interview when you talked about your grandparents
Yeah.
and your inspiration. What inspires you?
Inspires me food to begin with, and the effect that I have that we have in our hands per se. I think there's nothing cooler than when you serve your food. You're part of their life. So
It's an extension of you.
yeah, exactly. So and especially if it's a good meal, your food will stay in their memory for like forever, and they will go. I think that is just super powerful to me, and also for people to come and spend their money and support your passion. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, and then I
Wow.
do like all the chefs we've talked to, so many of them.
Yeah,
It's always about the joy they bring
yeah.
to people. They walk out there like, oh yeah, like Manny Badea, who introduced us. He's like, yeah, I like looking out there and like, fuck yeah,
Yeah,
I like
it's just
I like what they
that
have.
feeling is just a rush. It's just some type of adrenaline that that you feel when you make something feel good through your food. I think that to me is just blows my mind. And
Well, if you
it's
think
just
about it,
super
I
cool.
always you introduce. I'm going to use the term love. An extension of yourself. You love giving of yourself and
Yeah.
who you are, your culture through food, and you make a great memory for everybody else. I mean, I agree with that because some of my best memories in life. I spent a long time in the military. Been all over different parts of the world, and it's some of my best memories are about food
Yeah.
and the camaraderie and it takes you back. You have smells or things you see.
Yeah.
It just brings you
It
back.
really brings you back, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just like this place. My mom worked in all her life, working on an office and 5 days a week. So I would stay with my grandmother. But at some point in my life, she will pick a restaurant, and we will go there like family day, because we were growing up. My brother was doing their thing, my mom was working, and then I was just doing my thing. So somehow at certain like a Sunday morning, we will go to this place, go to Sambors just to be together, just to have a meal as family, because the rest of the week we're just going to be busy or doing our
Shared
things,
memories.
right? But if I remember correctly, a long time ago she started this tradition, but by going to a pozoleria, and especially going on a Thursday, because it's traditional that in pozolerias throughout Mexico, pozoles Thursdays is 2-for-1 pozoles. So we will go there, and I don't know why exactly, but that's stayed with me. And when I started working in restaurants, and even back there, I wanted to open my own taco stand and stuff. I've always been wanted to open a restaurant. Like this dream is just been with me for forever since those days. And then I started working in this industry. Then I think it was just picture perfect for me to land in this industry. And in 20 years later, we were able to open this up. Yeah.
And we're going to talk about what you're doing differently, Pozzoli. But I want to talk about your history too.
Yeah.
You came to the U.S.
Yeah.
To seek the American dream and
Yeah.
make a better life, and others. And obviously, you've succeeded in some of the industries and restaurants you've told me about. So, when you first came to the U.S., what did you do?
Oh, I worked for my uncle in a construction company on framing. We were building houses.
Hard work, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you, at one point, you started as a dishwasher in a restaurant.
Yes. After that was a big no-no for me. It was just I knew that wasn't for me. Shout out to all the construction workers that they were working in summertime, super hot, winter. Shout out to all of them. But it was just it wasn't for me. So I almost went back to Mexico City. I wasn't feeling it. So the day before my trip, my plane ticket, we stopped by to a burrito shop in Cherry Creek, and they had a big old sign saying that now we're hiring cashiers, cooks, or whatnot. So I went there, spoke with the manager in Spanish. He was from Mexico City. He was super cool. And then I filled up the application. Next morning, he called me in English. I had no idea what he was saying. It was nerve-wracking. I was just saying that yes, okay, yes. I was just trying to pay attention to the number, thinking that it will be the time. But yeah, I ended up going there and I working as a cashier, and it was just it was tough because my English wasn't really good at all. So
is all English self-taught?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. By watching TV and writing words on a little board with your dictionary, and then you know the meaning, you look for them, and then you build your
repertoire,
your vocabulary. At least that was my thinking. And back in the day, they had I love music, so back in the day they had these CDs, the booklets. They had the lyrics of it, so I would just.
So you immersed yourself in trying to learn English.
Well, yeah, and I encourage to everyone that they do something about it, because at least for me, it was like being deaf and being mute in a country or in a place, and that is the worst feeling I've ever felt.
And that's what we're trying to do.
You're not able to express yourself, and just
have people understand you. That's what we're trying to do with the Food and Beverage Language Institute. We met at the Hispanic Chefs Association meeting. We've talked to you about a lot of our programs. I'm going to go back to previously said a few minutes ago when you talk about getting together and eating and creating those memories and the joy. That's our Latin Supper Club. Yeah. And that's pretty cool. Getting together, just enjoy your friends, your family.
And every culture is like that.
Exactly. We all break bread together.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. And then the second part of that is what we're trying to address is the learning English. English is a second language. We, this. We have a partnership with the Community College in Denver. We're rolling out we changed the name from Food and Beverage Language Institute. That's just going to be a part of that, because we find there's such a need that we named it the Latino Language Institute. So we're going to go into different industries too to help that exactly what you just mentioned.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
And so and that's part of the chef. Exactly, it's needed, so you don't feel lost in the culture, and that's what we're trying to bridge that gap with the Hispanic Restaurant Association. Leaders like you in the community, you can go back there and talk to your workers like, let's figure this out. Let's open up the world to you.
Yeah.
And look at you. You came, you didn't learn English. 20 years later, you're the owner of a restaurant. You've worked at some great places. And let's talk about, you started as a dishwasher too after the cashier. Where was that?
Always. Like I said, I've been a Cherry Creek whore since I've been here in Denver. I worked in every single restaurant in there. Like I said, some of the restaurants, they don't even exist anymore. But for some reason, I just stayed there, and the food level was really good, and it still is. There's really good restaurants in Cherry Creek, So I'm a very passionate guy. I don't do it. I just can't do it.
I would have never noticed.
Any have things, I always have to go all in. So when I said like, okay, I'm gonna try to stick with kitchen and trying to learn as much as possible. Not knowing, I mean, at the time I was just a dishwasher, and then you're a prep cook and stuff. So to me, the goal was to being a lead cook, and then eventually being a sous, and then eventually being an executive chef, and then you open your restaurant. But all that is just the ladder, and you'll see it real quick. If once you start working in a restaurant, and you kind of stop and see the ladder of the position in the restaurant, it's long and it's not easy, and the kitchen is not for everybody. You either you have it or you don't. It's just simple.
There's
as
so
that.
many different professions. It fits your personality.
Yeah,
it fits
absolutely.
your outlook. You said
Yeah.
your family owned taco stands.
Yeah.
That kind of entrepreneurial spirit
Yeah.
is embedded in you.
Yeah, it's just I was embedded in me. I was born with this love for this industry, I guess, for to serve people. I just think it's just super cool. But yeah.
Awesome. So you eventually became the executive chef at
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Then I was there like a decade. Like I said, just working my way up.
What did they see in you? I think you said it earlier. You did nothing half-assed.
No, I was. I don't know. I was. As a cook or as a prep cook, I don't know, but I just. I don't know. I was good. I don't like to.
Well, I understand, but you were pursuing excellence. As I like to say, you wanted to do well with the way you cut things, the way you prepped, the way you.
Yeah, and it was just I guess it was just I was driven. And
there you go, ambitious.
And I was super ambitious, and I was just a pain in the ass. So I was just asking so many questions, and because I just wanted to learn. To me, working at Always, it was a brand new kitchen. The chef and like 3 sous chefs, and a whole army. Because that's exactly what it is. A lot of chefs look at this that before service like going to war, and if you think about it, it's totally true. Everyone is like a platoon. Everyone has to be on point. Everyone's working towards the same goal. Like I say, it's just people cutting themselves, people burning themselves, people yelling at each other, just the dishwasher in the back just fighting each other, or I don't need this. It's just
there's things that go on that maybe I'm not aware of.
Yeah, the whole.
It's ultimately teamwork. I compare what goes on in the kitchen all the time to the teamwork in the military. Because you have your point man, like you said, you have the commander general, which I always view the executive chef. They also like the team leader, and they're like the orchestra leader. They play,
and it's beautiful.
And you make the music.
Yeah. And it's loud, and if there's music, even better. And but at the end of the day, everybody's friends. You go out, you have a beer, and next day, let's do it again. It just the whole teamwork, all that. It was
the teamwork. So let's go into that a little bit. I always like to learn entrepreneurs, people that have achieved significance in the culinary world. What do you think about what's important in teamwork, and what is a good leader, and why are they important?
I think as a leader, you need to, at least what has worked for me, has always listen to your crew. Doesn't matter like if you're the lead cook or you're the pantry cook or you're the dishwasher or you're the prep cook. I mean, just by listening to them, my career and my life has been much better. And by showing by example, you can't say do this and you don't do it, or you just don't know how to do it. I think that to me was it's been super helpful for me just to and like I said, like there's no titles in my kitchen. Like I say, we all work towards the same goal. I don't know. I just we don't wear like fancy chef coats or anything. We are about the food and put out a good product. and that's what we focus on. That's why we don't even have a sign up front. The best food in Mexico City, and I get just stuck from Mexico City. Of course, that's where I'm from. But the best food there, they don't have signs. It just says what it is: tacos or tortas or pozole or whatever. So that's kind of like also why we just don't have a sign up front. And
so you're really trying to pull back to your roots of what the best is.
100%, and like I said before, just to showing people in Denver that there's Mexican food is a lot more than just tacos and tequila. Yeah.
Right. Well, you're going to disappoint a lot of people saying that. I'm educated. We're trying to. When I say disappoint, I'm talking about everyone's like. I'm like, I just want my tacos and tequila.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. Tacos are good, tequilas are great, but I think there's more.
Oh, I know that. And that's our goal, is to educate and elevate. Yeah. Educate about this whole Latin cuisine, just whether it be from the Pacific, Atlantic coast of Mexico, the Gulf, all those different fusions of different food, from fish.
Yeah, and not just that, but there's a crazy talent here in Denver that I think by you guys doing things like this, it's super helpful for us. We're on the same situation, trying to, like, Mexican chefs.
Our whole goal is to educate and elevate. Educate both sides. Bridge a culture. Educate the world about the unique craftsmanship, the artisan, the leadership, the talent that's out there. And everybody that's judged the Hispanic Top Chef, which you're going to be in this year, I asked you to be part of that. So I'm really happy for that. Yeah. And it's all about, they said, the skill set, the craftsmanship, and the quality of the product they put out. They're like, I was completely surprised. And these are Latin Hispanic chefs judging them: Dana, Pablo, Manny, and they were extremely happy. So was I. Yeah. Everybody was, and we're going to continue that tradition this year. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Along with the Latin Supper Club. Well, so there's some other places you were involved in as far as opening that are, in the great culinary scene in Denver. So what are those? Tell me about those.
Well, I opened. I have opened a handful of restaurants throughout my career, but I have never ever been in this situation or given the opportunity to be that guy. When I had the opportunity, when opening a restaurant, when you're not the chef, you always have something, someone to ask what to do if you get stranded or you don't know what to do, right? Or they tell you what to do. You follow their recipes, perhaps, right? But when for me, when it was all the way around, when I had no one to look up, like, this is my deal.
I'm the man.
I'm the man. That was hard for me. But at the same time, it was just what I wanted. So I just thrive in there, and then we come up with the first tacos and tequila concept in this side of the country in 2011.
What was the name of that?
Machete Tequila and Tacos.
Really?
Yeah, we were the first concept of the tacos and tequila at the time. Nobody was doing that on this side of the country, and I don't even think in LA at the time was doing that. Everything was later. Yeah.
Really? So you're really innovative and visionary in creating this. How did that come about? What made you think of that?
That was a super fun experience for me, with your ups and downs throughout my journey there. But the former burrito owner, the place that was my first job. Years later, we met up and we decided to open this concept. And my only request was that I wasn't going to do any burritos or anything like that. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against that type of food, but it's just something that I just didn't grow up with. And so they're good, they're great, I love them, I eat them almost every day. But it's just not something that I know that I grew up with. So when I had the opportunity, I think it was just a perfect opportunity for me to showcase what I grew up with. Because if you're in the food industry and you get the opportunity to to born in Mexico City and live your childhood there, that experience is just uncomparable, and I was just lucky to be like that, just growing up in the melting pot of the spices and recipes of Mexico, because people from Yucatan and people from Chihuahua and everybody in between, they go to Mexico and they bring their own recipes. But then there it becomes a fusion, because there you start mixing these peppers from the north and then with these spices or these fruits from the south, and it becomes like a melting pot. It's kind of like New York on a smaller scale, but it's kind of like New York. Their food culture is just vibrant and super great. So by working there, we decided to open that and showcase what I've been seeing throughout my life. So we decided to do that, and we did real well. We opened 3 locations with that concept, the tacos and tequila, and but it's hard work, and being in the industry, there's a lot of distractions that come with success and all that kind of stuff. So after 9 years, I was just into drinking. That just didn't bring anything good things to me. So I had to take a break. I took a year off, and
What year was that?
2018-ish, I think.
So right before the pandemic.
Right, it's probably 2017, something like that. Yeah. But don't get me wrong. I mean, that was my college. I would say my college education in the restaurant business, by opening 3 successful locations, and knowing the ins and outs of opening a restaurant, and I think just surrounded by smart people always helped, and I got the experience, no doubt. I've been getting all my experience throughout my career, but especially with the financial part and the business side of it, of the restaurants, because I would say cooking is easy. To consistency and the numbers and the business side of it, that's the tricky part. And I'm just not a numbers guy. I cook for a living. That's my passion. But like I said, I think what's helping me, it's being surrounded always by smart and good people and passionate about the business.
Did you have anybody in particular in those group of smart people that inspired you?
Oh yeah, I get inspired by everybody, by anybody, even just even animals. I think their thought process and what they do, like animals. That it's.
Do you have a spirit animal?
Wolf.
The wolf?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Oh man, I love wolves, and they're because the way they see life, and they're always working and as a team. They're very family oriented. But
that's exactly what came to mind when you said that.
But they're also
they can fight.
You don't mess with them. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So like I said, by opening that, no doubt that paved the way for me to be in this position.
Was there a particular chef or a mentor in your life that inspired you to take that leap from, you said the cook, now you've participated in some openings of some significant or worked in significant restaurants?
Yeah, Tyler Wyatt, shout out to him. He was literally the first chef I saw in action at the Fourth Story. So, and then, long story short, we ended up with we ended up being the chef at Elway's while I was still a cook. So we met again, and then I by working with him, I think he helped me a lot in the way he see things, and
so he really helped you, guided you to that path of progression. Become a chef, and eventually an owner of yourself. Yeah. Where'd you go to culinary school?
I did a little. School is not for me. I know that. But at some point, I wanted to have something,
certificate.
Paper, a certificate, especially by getting a good job. Or I worked at the Cherry Creek Hills, the country club, And they required like all these sort of papers to work with there and stuff like that. So that's when I realized to do something about it. It was me and a friend that he was into cooking that we went to Boulder. We toured a couple of culinary schools, the cooking streets and stuff like that. But it was just so much money that it was just like no way. So somehow I end up at the Emily Griffith Opportunity School. And when it was in Walton Street, then they had a culinary program, and I signed up. And they were part of the American Culinary Federation, the ACF. We used to do their practices at the Johnson and Wales. So
they produce some great chefs. You,
Yeah.
Zuri, who's a
Yeah.
chef at the executive chef at Shanahan's, and others. It's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. I mean, that's great. That I'm gonna have to give them a shout out. I'm gonna have to pay them a visit, see what's going on down there.
No, it's been so I was there, and it was good. It was a great experience. I met a bunch of people that we shared the same passions. That's always good. And there was a lot of. I'm a very competitive guy, so that competitiveness, like camaraderie. But it was all good. But just being there, it was
You
super
elevate
cool.
each other.
Yeah, exactly. And I learned a lot about the other side, of the kitchen by like the theory of it, right? But that was good. But what I can say that I really learned is by working on the line.
No, that's any college. When a person goes
Yeah.
to college, they just have
Yeah.
theory. Then they go to school, and
Yeah.
they go into the world.
The real deal.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
know much. But that's just the foundation.
Yeah.
But you did that
It's great.
with Emily
And it's great. Don't get me wrong. And if people there have the opportunity just to do that, just to have that, because it's you're learning something, and that is a win. What doesn't matter what it is. If you learn something, that's a win.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Educate and elevate. That's our goal, whole vision statement. Educate and elevate
Yeah.
the Hispanic community across a multi-generational spectrum. That's why we have our partnerships with Metropolitan State and Leadership and all their programs. Community College of Denver, English as a second language. We want to get the Hispanic community on the college runway.
Yeah.
And inspire them, guys like you, whether it be culinary world, whether the leadership world, hospitality, tourism. There's so many degrees out there.
Where were you in 2001 when I started doing this thing? You guys would have helped me so much.
Well, we recognize a need for it, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you and Manny and a few others. They're
Yeah.
like all those chefs that were there at our chefs meeting. You're like, oh, you've been.
Yeah.
I read about you in the paper, but I don't know you.
Yeah, like what? I just found out like a week ago. So
Yeah.
no, but I think it's just.
Why do
super
you think
great.
that is? You're so busy working, you just don't. There's nobody tying it together. But now the HRA.
I think there's I think you said it at the meeting, a big disconnect among us, the Hispanic chefs. But like I said, like we know each other, we hang out each other, right? But as far as like working together or just have a place to go out and express your needs or help, we just don't have that glue, that
Okay.
nucleus.
Oh, that's a good. Okay, there you go. The glue.
To go to, right? Because it's different. Because like I told you, I'm not sure, but I think the margin of chef owners, I think it is not that big. Which somehow I would like to just find a way throughout you guys to perhaps change that, because like I said, it's just crazy talent out there, and it's
the owner in the restaurant that gets the PR. We're trying to bring the chef. Dude, that's why
whoever is there. The guy is cooking. The chef is
backbone.
is the guy's making the restaurant. Sometimes the owner is just the money part, which is helpful and it needed. Don't get me wrong.
one can't exist without the other.
But exactly. But just give credit where credit is due. It's always the right thing to do. So if your chef is just killing it and just making a bunch of money, just spotlight him. Have him. Just do something, because like I say, he's making the restaurant go around.
Yeah, reputation.
Yeah.
So you've worked in Machete always.
Yes.
You went to culinary school. You have this inspiration, Tyler, you mentioned.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk to him about that.
Yeah.
Get the real story.
Yeah. We do have some cool, crazy stories.
And then let's jump forward to La Diabla.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. You've been open 6 months.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah.
What would you what you want to do? What is your mission here? What is your vision for La Diabla?
Well,
What is it?
it's well, La Diabla is the first pozoleria and I would say in the whole country. I don't think there's other pozoleria that they devoted their menu to the pozole. And if it is, we'd love to hear about it and get in contact with them and just talk to them. But most importantly is I always like to thrive and be the pioneer, I would say, the trailblazer per se, just to do something different. Because when I do something like that, that means there's a challenge. Like when I opened the Tacos and Tequila, that was a challenge. It was just us doing. We had no idea what the heck we were doing, but we kind of have an idea. Like I say, it was like my first gig as chef. I didn't know what the heck we were doing, and but things pan out right for us. But yeah, I think it's
Describe a good pozole.
the corn. If yes, I mean you can open up a can and throw it a salsa and boil it, and yeah, I mean it's gonna be good. Don't get me wrong, it's gonna be good.
But you're really elevating the game here.
But to me, it's about just making it right. Just making it right. Just like I said, I'm not reinventing the wheel, nor I want to. I'm just
blazing your own path.
I'm just doing what they. If I would open a pozoleria in Mexico City, I would do this. Like you open a pozoleria in Mexico with canned pozole, you just, I mean,
you might get all the Americans.
It's just not gonna survive because especially Mexicans, we know about our food. We know. That's why we travel and we pay. When it's good food, it doesn't matter where it is. You drive and you pay. If it's good, and especially being in so far away from our country, so a good pozole, you need to start with nixtamalizing your corn, like we saw earlier, and then your bone, your broth. I'm sorry, it has to be a really good broth. And by having those two things, I think whatever you add, it's just it's even unnecessary. It's just more of the explosion of flavors in your mouth. But a good cacao simple, well nixtamalized, and your a good broth with bone. I think that's what makes it. That's why we raise our own pigs for this place to.
You raise your own pigs?
Yes.
Oh, where?
In Wellington, Colorado.
Oh, yeah? Oh, nice.
Yeah, same as we raise our own sheep for our other concept, El Borrego Negro, where we do barbacoa Hidalgo style.
Where's that at?
Morrison Road, 3800 Morrison Road, in the parking lot of Cultura Chocolate.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, you did tell me that, but
yeah,
we'll highlight that too a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'd love to hear about that. Yeah, I grew up near there in Windsor, Colorado.
Oh,
so I'm pretty familiar.
Yeah. Shout out to Westwood.
Yeah, exactly. And then so the last thing.
Yeah.
Okay, you have this great concept. How's it going? Going well overall?
It's going well. I mean, like we when we open, I was just waiting on our licensing, and as soon as we had our business license and we were ready to open, I just flipped the switch and I think I made a personal post on Facebook. I think that said abierto. We didn't do any press. I didn't want any press.
And yet here you are talking to me.
Yeah, I know. And also the whole no sign thing, I think it hurt us in the beginning, to be quite honest, especially where we at. We're in like no man's land, and the most famous street in Denver or in Colorado, Latimer Street, but we are in this little bridge between Rhino or 4 points in downtown. So going in, we knew there was going to be perhaps going to be we're going to have to work a little harder to bring traffic. But like I told my crew, we believe in our product, and I think I told you that we believe in our product, and we believe what we put on the table. That it was just a matter of time for people to realize what we do, and that's all I wanted, honestly, to for people to give us a shot, to give us an opportunity, just to try what we do. And
we'll do what we can, and you'll be on the OCN Eats show tomorrow. Yeah, and we're doing our part. I mean, for such a great product and great visionary,
and open up a new concept. It's always hard. Even though when we opened Tacos and Tequila, it was in Cherry Creek. It was hard. We were looking to close.
Right.
So it's just opening up a restaurant. It doesn't matter what you do. You open up a restaurant, it's just hard. Period. So when it's a new concept,
even more so. So you have to educate people about it.
Exactly.
Okay. Last question.
Yeah.
You've done this. You're successful here, moving on, blazing a new path. What would you tell a young 16-year-old you or 18-year-old?
Hard work and dedication.
And pursuit of excellence. That sounds like what you've done. Don't do it half-assed.
No. Do it all the way, or just don't do it. You'll be wasting your time.
Oh, that's great advice.
It doesn't matter what you do, but I think if you end up doing what you love, you're not really working.
I agree with that. That's how I feel about what we're doing with this Restaurant Association, Chefs Association.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, thank you for bringing on.
Thank you.
What do you have for us? Anything?
No, nothing. Just super excited that finally someone came up with this idea to open the Hispanic Restaurant Association. I think it's just great, and just nothing but good things. Like I said, there's so many other chefs, and I know so many other people that they just don't have the space, the platform to showcase what they do. So there's so many great cooks and chefs that have been cooking here, but they just sometimes the money part is the hard part. But with these things, perhaps these people can find an investor or whatnot that believe in them. And
that's one of our goals. Yeah. Yes, because there's people out there. We're trying to bridge some gaps, and that's our goal. So thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Check us out, 2233 Larimer Street. For pozole, and we also do barbacoa Hidalgo style at 3800 Morrison Road. Sundays only, 9 to sell out.
All right.
Check us out.
Thank you.